I'm Larry Kortkamp. Welcome to Biz Pointz TV, the show that introduces you to new and trending business topics, smart technology, and the people that impact our small business community. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to be back in just a minute to get it started.
Create a stronger and more dynamic business. Larry Kortkamp, founding partner at the Kortkamp Group, talks with industry insiders about trending topics moving the needle for local business today. Here's your host, Larry Kortkamp.
Hi, welcome back. Today my guest is Carrie Schilling. Carrie's with Norris Event Centers. We are excited to have you today because you are normal for us. You're bringing normal back, right? So it's no more Zoom. You are person to person.
Zoom is great, and it definitely serves its purpose. But I think I speak for myself and mostly everybody else out there that we're ready to get back to in person and seeing those friends that we had pre-COVID, and those new friends that we really haven't even gotten a chance to meet, co-workers and everything. But it's been really exciting, especially in the last couple of months, to see this uptick in inquiries and bookings, and just everyone is so excited to get back to business. And
I was going to say, I'm glad to hear it. We wanted you to tell everybody that you have that uptick, that people are actually booking. Do you sense an excitement? Do you sense that people are ready to get back in there and do that mix and mingle?
I do. So there's this silly analogy that I think about in my head. It's Thanksgiving. So if you do Thanksgiving lunch or you do Thanksgiving dinner, nobody wants to be the first person to, take the turkey or anything like that, unless you're my brother Gary or John Paul. But then, so everybody finally starts going after it after they see somebody else start booking or start, eating that food. Now it's kind of, it's something that everybody's kind of really ready to get back at. And now it's really booking up. So,
that's awesome.
So we've seen a lot of these clients that we've had previously, new clients that are looking for that space, and hopefully we continue to have that space available for them. But it has been getting busier and busier, and everybody's really, really excited to get back to the in-person events.
Now you're with Norris. Norris is actually not based here in Dallas. They're actually in Houston
is where they're based out of, correct.
Is this a new market for them, the Dallas market?
It is. So we had our grand opening ribbon cutting on March 5th. About
poor thing.
Yeah, a week and a half, 2 weeks before everybody had to get sent home for COVID. But it's been really great. We do have a lot of different locations. We've got 3 different locations in Houston, Austin. We have a location, San Antonio, and Dallas, of course, which is my baby.
And you're actually where our studios are located. You're not too far away from here, are you?
Right. Hop, skip, and a jump away. Today it took me about 5 minutes to get to you guys.
So for our audience, that's I-35 and 635
Correct.
kind of area?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You said your clients are coming back. What type of clients are you seeing? Who's booking these shows? Are they trade shows? Are they corporate events? Are they who's getting back into it?
So it's a pretty great little mix. We go from trade shows, from depositions, little small tiny depositions, to religious events on the weekends, to trainings, anything. You name it, we've got it. We've got everything in-house that you need as far as AV equipment, chairs, tables, all that. So if you've got something that you need a space for, just talk to me and we'll get you all set. But
you mentioned some AV and some technology. Obviously the show is we favor technology here, but one thing that makes your facilities as useful as they are is because you do integrate technology into your facilities. So if you have some interactive meetings where part of your meeting is physical, the other part may be not housed in that particular facility, you can actually house those events there, which would be very advantageous for a lot of companies, I would think.
Exactly, Larry. So we've really seen this big, huge market for hybrid events, where we do have the AV in-house that we can definitely do. We also have some partners. If you've got maybe a presenter that wants to come out, and obviously if you're doing presentation, a lot of them will want to go out and be interactive with the crowd and whatnot. So we have these business partners that we pair with so that they can go ahead and run the video for that. If it's something that's, as simple as projector screen, mic, house sound, we're doing a Zoom call, we're doing it, your small presentation, we can definitely do that in-house. And we can even go from a company-wide thing as far as any kind of AV equipment goes. We can actually take it where we've had an Austin group that had a presenter. We had our Dallas group that also had a presenter. Well, they wanted to bring everyone in. So they did have some people that were in-house in Austin, in-house in Dallas, and then they also had the virtual people. So we were able to get everyone together, and as opposed to that company having to pay for hotel stays or paying for multiple different events, they just had the one event that we were able to facilitate within our property.
Wow, that's very creative on how you put that together. There's a lot of technology that's going into that to make that doing. Are you doing all that technology yourself, Carrie?
I am, except for the video. I can do that stuff, but the video, that's not my strong point, but I can definitely recommend some people.
Well, actually, it's nice to hear that the size of the events are different as well. So when we think of getting back, a lot of people don't. We think of trade shows, obviously, because when we're in the business world, we go to trade shows all the time, conventions, whatever that might happen to be. But the corporate events can be a lot smaller than that, and it's nice to know that you can accommodate the smaller groups as well as the larger groups. And you also supply other things. So you mentioned maybe some food or some. What else do you supply besides the technical or the things that we think of all the time?
So with our Dallas property, we wanted to kind of make it as easy as possible, and as, for all of our clients coming in, some of them want, just, take care of everything. So we do the AV, we obviously have all the setup that will always be done for you, but they also don't want to order any kind of food and beverage. So we can supply in-house food and beverage for any client that we need, breakfast, lunch, dinner. We can even do bar service, happy hour, you name it, we can do it. But also too, there are some groups that maybe have like a smaller budget. They're trying to figure out exactly, how many people they have to expect and what they actually have allotted for these events that they're trying to navigate themselves throughout. So we also allow outside food and beverage if they want to go ahead and do that. So we just try to be as flexible as possible. If there's anything that any of our clients kind of have their mind wrapped around that they think that might work best for them, then I definitely want to hear what it is and try to figure out how to.
It doesn't sound very important, but I was just at an event not that long ago, and it was held at a hotel, and they didn't even have water, available to that. And you don't really think that's that important, but all the people that were attending that particular event, they didn't have any water. They wanted to be able to drink something. There wasn't anything there. You mentioned religious. Do you actually have churches that operate out of your space?
We do. We have a group that books with us every Sunday. We do have additional spacing too if there was another religious service that would like to go ahead and book. But yeah, it's a fresh and nice change of pace to get
that's
them
a new
in.
one on me. I always find it interesting when I have guests on in industries that I'm not very intimate knowledge with, and I didn't even think of that as a potential for a customer for you. Are there specific customers that you see that book you more often than not, or it's more of a routine for them to book a space like yours?
So we do, I do see maybe associations being a huge market for us. A lot of them will do, monthly by monthly different events.
So is it like a buyer's group, or when we say an association, what's an association?
Anything. So
Really?
any kind of nonprofit,
Wow,
anything. I think they have like Fisher People Associations. They've got
Okay, you said Fisher People. We're going to get into that a little bit too, because your people don't know you're quite the Fisher person. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute for more with Carrie Schilling.
My American dream is to help you stay healthy and energized so you can live your American dream.
Our American dream is equipping future generations of American dreamers.
My American dream is to protect my community so they can live their American dream.
My American dream is to bring you some spice and flavor to your life.
Our American dream is ensuring what's most valuable to you.
Our American dream is creating opportunities for healthcare providers so they can have their American dreams.
My American dream is serving our business community and advocating for all of your American dreams.
Business runs on technology, and human beings are creatures of habit. Unfortunately, not all our habits are good. Technology, when it works, is supposed to make our lives easier, creating routines that allow us to protect customer data, track our progress, forecast the future, communicate better, and move much faster. So, you need technology solutions that work when you're not working, or simply not paying attention. Smart technology solutions, making the complicated uncomplicated.
Hi, welcome back. My guest today is Carrie Schilling with Norris Event Centers. We left talking about fishing when we left, but Carrie is actually an avid fisherman, aren't you?
I do. It's my favorite pastime for sure.
You are a Texas girl?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Born and raised. Well, we're glad you're here because we really appreciate facilities like yours. We'd kind of started talking a little bit about associations, and one thing that we do is B2B, business to business, is networking a lot. Mm-hmm. Do you have networking groups that utilize your space?
We sure do. One of my biggest networking groups is going to be the Farmers Branch Chamber of Commerce. There's a lot of different events that they have actually been hosting, and they were one of the groups that first went back to in-person events that I had seen. So that was really exciting. We hope to have them back. I know that we had hosted something for them quite a few months ago, but some of the things that they had told me that they really actually liked about our facility is that we do have a ton of parking. So parking is never going to be an issue at our facility. It's also all complimentary. Complimentary Wi-Fi, ergonomic seating, full spectrum lighting. There's just a bunch of different things that we have.
The parking doesn't sound like much, but we have a lot of events that happen downtown and for Dallas, and parking is a problem where you can't get to park, or you have to park so far away, and then you've got to work in the weather, what happens to be. You glossed over lighting really fast. I know my wife is a gal like anybody else, and lighting affects how you look, it affects how you interact with people. So all these little things that you take care of that don't seem like much, but really are very important. It's very conducive to making a good atmosphere to promote talking, right? People interacting with one another. So I like the fact that, are you on the first floor or second floor? Is it
We are located on the second floor.
Second floor? Mm-hmm. So is it a multi-story
building?
It is.
It's a high rise, but just take it right on up to the second floor and we have the whole floor to ourselves.
We've covered quite a bit of things, but obviously the aspect of the networking and some of the other events, are there any other points that you'd like to bring out for people?
Definitely. So I guess there's no real handbook of how to come out of COVID that I've seen. There might be, but not that I've seen. But for us, for Norris Event Centers, I think I touched on the fact that, our owners started this business a little over 30 years ago. They're wonderful people, but they really pride themselves on being transparent as far as pricing and always providing, a great service. So there's no real handbook to how to deal with meetings and events coming out of COVID, but this is something that we have been trying to figure out what we do, and it's so fluid.
But part of that is what we're doing today.
Right.
It's making people aware that it's back, making people aware that you can get in
back.
there. Let's, okay, I want to rent that. Walk me through the process. So I've seen you online. How do I go about doing this? How many people can you handle? Is there a minimum or a maximum? All these things. Take me through it. I'm going to book something.
Okay. All right. Larry, welcome. We can do anywhere from one-person events all the way up to 184. It just kind of depends on what the setup that you're looking for. So you would just go ahead and give me a call. We can chat about exactly what you want. It's not, we don't have a pricing sheet that we're just going to throw at you. Just tell me what you're looking for. We can figure it out together. If you ever have a budget that you need to stick to, just let me know what it is. And if you've got flexibility, we have flexibility. So yeah, just call me.
How about budgeting? Am I budgeting on a per person? So I have 50 guests and it's
Good
so much per
question.
head. Is that?
Very good question. So we have, we're flexible, but we can do a per person. We can also do like a venue rental. We can do venue rental with outside catering. We can do just food and beverage only. There's a bunch of different options that we have. And that's one of the things that I really like about the company is that added flexibility that we have to work with our clients.
So 184 people, that was a very specific number.
Yes.
So is this something where if I wanted to do a small trade group of some kind with, is there any general public, or is this a confined event that's happening with set people?
General public definitely can come in. We are happy to provide any kind of information if you want to put on your website. Anything and everything. Yeah, we're happy. We want to make sure that whatever event you bring to us is a successful event.
Do you help? You mentioned that. Do you help with co-promotion on an event?
Co-promotion isn't something that we advertise, but it is something that, say, if you have a group, Larry, that comes in, I want to take a picture of you. I want to make sure that, your logo is in the background. I'd like to take a picture and put it on some sort of social media for us. Co-promotion is not something that we have tapped into yet. Maybe it's something down the line, but as of right now, no.
As far as I'm drawing back to the people and the companies that use you, because I want our audience, which is really actually a pretty large audience. I want people that don't normally think of space to think of space for their business. So are there companies that you find where you've done an event for them and they really hadn't thought about doing that before, but it really worked out, or people that said, wow, this really went well for us and we're going to do this again and it wasn't something that we've done? Are there any stories that you can tell us that might?
Yes. So I'm really happy that you brought that up too. Goodness gracious, there's been quite a few different events that we have had that it turned out to be something that wasn't something that they thought that they needed, but it ended up being something that really has helped with their business. So think about it. A lot of people are going back to not actually working inside of an office building. So they've seen that, working remote has worked well for their staffing. And also too, it might save them a little bit of money in the long run for renting office space. So, but you still need that camaraderie. You still need that team. You still need to say, hey, Larry, how's it going, man? I haven't seen you in so long. It's great to, chit chat. So just getting the employees, the coworkers back together is just this amazing, you see the smiles on their face and it just kind of warms your heart. And you know that it just kind of maybe gives them that extra added oomph to get back and to be positive and to, if it's sales, then get out there and sell more.
So instead of having the quarterly business review
right
at the office, they're bringing it into you, right?
Exactly.
How about some other industries that might profit from this relationship with you?
So we have a lot of training groups.
That's a great one.
Yeah, training groups, and if you think about it. Not everyone is, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. We have a laptop that we're working on. You also have construction industries. You have different industries that don't all have, company-provided laptops or company-provided computers. So they need to get together. They need to have these important safety trainings. They need to have SOP trainings. They need to have all of this different information that they can gather and they can gain. And you've only got, one person that's trying to do it. So you can get everybody together, and that's been a very big group, segment for us that we've seen coming back because they need a place to meet and they need someone to be able to give them the rundown.
Well, and not only that, with your AV capabilities and the ability maybe to record the event and use it for future trainings or maybe as an onboarding tool for other people. It's just a lot of, you don't think of all the things that just an extra little space can do for you.
Right.
And like you said, most people during this past situation have been downsizing. So having the luxury of having a wide open space to be able to do larger meetings or people interacting, it had become a luxury. A lot of people were going to just single offices and so forth. So.
And we're getting back to the point where so many more people are becoming employed. So whereas you might have furloughed, 50% of your staff or whatever percentage you might have had to furlough, now we're all coming back. So you're getting new employees, you're getting old employees back, you've figured out your new SOPs. So Larry has this thing in his head that he needs to get out to all of his staff. And what better way to do that than have a meeting where everybody can get together and Larry can, tell us all that at one time.
Well, we're going to be back in just a minute for a little bit more with Carrie Schilling.
What does it mean to devote your life to the truth? Does it mean investigating communist subversion here in America? Does it mean exposing the deadly fentanyl crisis in the Midwest? Or spending late nights uncovering deep government corruption? Because at a time when America's traditional values are under attack, it's the responsibility of righteous journalists to uphold truth and tradition.
My American dream is to help you stay healthy and energized so you can live your American dream.
Our American dream is equipping future generations of American dreamers.
My American dream is to protect my community so they can live their American dream.
My American dream is to bring you some spice and flavor to your life.
Our American dream is ensuring what's most valuable to you.
Our American dream is creating opportunities for healthcare providers so they can have their American dreams.
My American dream is serving our business community and advocating for all of your American dreams.
Hi, welcome back for our final segment on Biz Pointz today. Again, my guest is Carrie Schilling with Norris Conference Centers. And Carrie, let's continue down this path of really what the conference center is for people. So the experience of a conference center, are they tiny little rooms broken up into a lot of compartments? Is it one big room? What's the flexibility on the actual space that we're dealing with?
So we actually have a total of 9 rooms within our facility. We are located on the 2nd floor. So if I can kind of maybe paint a picture of what you can expect whenever you are coming to Norris Conference Centers, Dallas, whenever you pull up, you have plenty of parking. It's all going to be uncovered parking, so you don't have to worry about going in and out of the parking.
The dreaded parking garage.
Yes, I used to have a big truck, and that was very difficult. But so we've got plenty of parking. All you do is you walk inside, and you take that elevator on up to the 2nd floor. Once you get there, you'll see me. I'm always at the front, ready to greet everyone to make sure that they know exactly where they're going. Right, left. It's an oval shape, so you'll find your place eventually. But yeah, no, we can. We can do pretty much anything and everything as far as food, beverage.
How about the actual makeup of the room itself? Do you supply all the chairs and what type of a look do I have? Is it the cafeteria look when I go in there? Is it the table? What am I going to see?
So it's not going to be your standard cafeteria look. I do remember those days, but once you come in, it's very beautiful. It's very crisp and clean, almost like a beautiful doctor's office. Whenever you get up in the front hotel or in the front lobby area. And then you're looking at, we do the tables, we do the chairs, we do everything in there. We have a teal presence throughout the facility.
Is there a stage?
There is capability to have a stage. Okay. We don't have one that is set in any of our rooms, but we can definitely provide that. Pretty much whatever your heart desires.
So you had talked earlier, if we're working the room, so I'm bringing in Tony Robbins and he's always mic'd up and he's walking around. But we also have a lot of events where we need to have certain things happening in one place, whether that be people or a working group or a roundtable discussion or whatever that happens to be. So that would be the reason to have that. I wanted to know what that looks like from the room. Is it something that's amphitheater shaped? Are we focused on a central spot? Is it just a big rectangle, or can we make that what we need it to be?
Whatever your heart desires. So what I traditionally do is about 14 days prior to any event, I'll touch base with my clients, and we will just go over what your expectations are as far as floor plans go. And if you want that, round table feel, whatever it is, we set it up. We don't have any kind of stipulations as far as, an auditorium that's already set up. We have completely bare rooms that we can set to whatever our clients would like it to be.
As far as location for this particular facility, because it's the one that's in Dallas, is it easy to get to? I've been to several venues where it's just not. It's not easy to get to, or you have to, in Texas, we got the Texas turnarounds and it's always on the wrong side of the highway. And are you guys easy to get to?
Oh, Texas, it's so small. It's so easy to get to anywhere. No, I'm very fortunate. We are very fortunate. It's so very easy to get to. We are just right on the opposite side of Farmers Branch. You exit and then it's right there.
Well, we can see you from the highway, so
yes.
At least that's a nice change.
Yeah.
The booking process, how far in advance are we? Thankfully, we said you're starting to get busy. When should I be planning this? Am I thinking 2 months down the road, 6 months down the road? Am I a year in advance? What do I need to do?
So you don't want to run out of potato salad. And I say that with my Thanksgiving analogy reference. It's been insanely busy with people inquiring and whatnot, and booking up space for all of our locations, not just our Dallas facility, but our Houston, our Austin, and San Antonio properties. So as soon as you figure out what date you're going for, let's just put it on the books. Let's go ahead and book it. If it's something that you're not 100% set on your date, give me a call, because let's put a soft hold on that. And if it's something that you're going to find out in a few days, okay, great. At least I can call you up beforehand and say, hey,
because I can imagine if it's a conference or a 3-day event or whatever,
right.
Booking 3 days together, that you got to be thinking ahead for doing that.
Exactly.
How do you work with the clients in between that? Is there a lot of interaction between you and the proposed client during that period of time to make sure they're taking care of all the P's and Q's that need to happen, helping them to plan the event?
It really depends on the client. Some clients really like to make sure that it's something that, it's on, every week they're touching base to say, hey, we've got 5 more people, or hey, I think we're going to go ahead and push lunch back like 15 minutes. And then there are some clients that they really value their time that they need to have dedicated to one of the other hats that they have within their job. And that's something where 2 weeks prior, we go ahead and we have a chat and we do everything. We hammer it out all right then and there. But I mean, I will mold to whatever the client
wants. Well, and I think
wants.
that's where, at least in this particular facility with you, I think that's where your prior experience, you and I have talked off camera before, and you come from the hotel industry.
I do.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you're used to handling customers and walking them through a process. And we're talking to people that might be novices at getting space. So a lot of them don't know what they don't know, and they don't know what to ask. We've had people over the years that have gone to events where they just didn't get electric cords, or they don't, they just don't think of sometimes these little things that are very important for them to have happen when they go there. So it's helpful to have somebody, if we know that you're someone that will help walk them through that's very important for people to know that.
There are a lot of things that go into planning any kind of an event. Weddings, of course, that's a crazy thing.
You don't host weddings, do you really?
We can if you want.
Yeah.
We can do anything,
okay.
But even corporate events. So it is nice to go to a place where, even if you do want to provide your own audio visual equipment, if something happens, you forget a cord. you maybe forgot to bring the coffee maker or something like that. We have everything there. So it's not anything that any of our clients are ever really going to have to worry about, because, hey, just let me know and we got it.
All right, for my TV audience, we've got nice information down there that tell them how to get in touch with you. But for our radio and our podcast, how do people reach you, Carrie? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
So the best way to get in touch with me is either, I'm pretty flexible. You can reach me via phone at 469-840-0700. I'm also available via text at 409-370-0623. And you can reach me via email at c.schilling, and that's spelled SCHILLING, at Norris, like Chuck Norris, centers.com.
Well, Carrie, it was a pleasure to meet you today. Thank you very much for coming in. I hope we've shared a lot of information about eventing and conference centers that people really didn't think about much in the past. So thank you for joining us today. Be sure and tune in for the next episode of Biz Pointz TV on the OBBM network.
To be a guest or request sponsorship information, contact the Kortkamp Group at 972-824-8001 today. Production and programming information requests for the OBBM network should be directed to Offbeat Business Media by calling 214-714-0495 or send your request to info@offbeatbusiness.com. Biz Pointz TV, podcast, and radio show are produced by Offbeat Business Media for the OBBM network. Unauthorized use of logos, audio, video, or reproduction is strictly prohibited.